Hey everybody, this is Grace, and I'm on this road again, and guess what? Nobody is tailgating me. There's a guy behind me in a Bubba truck even, and they're not tailgating me. They're driving the speed limit. I am so proud of them, like you would not believe. Because I'm telling you, that right there. And the funny thing is, there's a fire station right there, and there's a police officer. There's always a police SUV, okay, there. And I'm like, if people travel that road, they've seen that, and they've seen the police on the side of the road ready to go and ticket people, but they're going to speed, okay, no matter what. And they try to get people, and it's only one lane each direction, no shoulder, no medium, lines down the middle of it say, do not pass people, but people still do it. I'm serious. I wonder if I can see this man in that truck. He looks about my age. He looks nice. I can't really tell. There's the son, but maybe he's younger than me. I don't know. Anyway, but it is so nice to go somewhere without somebody tailgating you. It's so rare. It really is. As it is, I'm going to physical therapy again. And I have been doing, I have to do some of it from home. And plus I'm doing more walking. And let me tell you, my body hurts. Because, I had a month, around a month, maybe a month and a half, I had pneumonia and getting over it and all that. And I really couldn't do much. I couldn't even walk like 10, 15 feet. And go on from there, I had to stop, catch my breath, and wait until I stopped breathing heavy, then go another 10 to 15 feet, approximately. I actually measured it the other day, and it was about 15 feet, the first part of it. And I used my own. Hey, why not? I know everybody's feet are different, but still, for me, it's those feet. Oh well, anyway. They used to do measurements in that kind of way. That's how I got it the same, right? I think so, by people using their feet, the average foot. But they also used to do it wherever, like people went to get seeds, for planting, and they would send the person that had the guy that had the largest hands, because that's how they measured it, by the scoop of the hand. That's what I remember. So I don't know who to quote, cite for that. I don't know. But anyway, I'm on my way to physical therapy again, and I need to change lanes all I can. And this time it's actually going to be a workout, and I don't know. My body is hurting. It's just, that weight that I gained. I had gained 48 pounds, lost some of it because it was water weight. Lost only some of it though. They don't know what caused it. That was back in 2023, except for my rare health condition. And while I'm on that about the rare health condition, I looked it up again today, and this time they did it separate from one that is from people that have asthma that do whatever treatment for asthma, and it's separate. Well, mine is the tumors. Okay, the one that's tumors. And I saw that the percentage is much, much lower. And I had been saying 0.007 or 0.004 to 0.007% of the population of the United States. I just wanted that population of the United States. Okay, I don't know where I left off, because there's some kids, and I cut them out of the clip while I was waiting at a light, and I had to keep watching the light and looking at the clip. The light was black. It was red. And then I had plenty of time. I knew that light, and like I know this one. And anyway, and then I had to wait until I got to the next light, which was this one, which was not close, before I could actually see that it did what it was supposed to do. So, well, not see if it did what it was supposed to do, but I had to click on it or it would put it anywhere in my video. It's weird. But okay, you stuck yourself out there. You gonna think that you're gonna pull out in front of me too? People do that. It's like, okay, you did it to yourself. You know, you did it to yourself. And see right here, there is this crossing, and we were coming the other direction, Adam and I, one day, and there was a woman standing with a child on the other side, and she was going to cross over, and then a man walked up, and he just didn't even say anything to her. He just walked across the street. She was just standing there, and luckily I understood the culture, and she waited until he got a certain length, then she and the child started moving. But some people would think she had just been standing there waiting for somebody else to come from the other side or something, and they could have hit her. So I don't know how great that's going to work out, you know, really. So, because she waited until he was almost totally across the street, both sides. I don't know. Because a lot of people aren't going to be, you know, they don't understand how that's supposed to go. Okay, there's a new driver over there. Hi, do you remember being a new driver? Do you remember? I've seen those cars go with that, and the person who would be driving it more than once, I guess it's personal cars, people's own cars, like adults, and they let their child use it from time to time. They don't take the sticker or whatever. Sometimes I don't think it's a sticker, it's a little plaque or something. Well, not a plaque, what would they be called? But they don't take them off, and I've seen some people who were driving them, adults, okay, and they would, you know, with this sticker on there, new driver, and they were going in and out of crazy, like traffic, speeding, doing all this kind of stuff, and I went, oh my goodness. Happened more than once. Okay, and that's an adult, so driving, yeah. The speeding seems to be the thing. Now, if you're teaching your kid how to drive and you're teaching your kid to speed, that speed limits are just suggestions, you know, like some people believe that speed limits are just suggestions, and we're talking about the ones like on this that say 40 miles per hour or 45 at one point. They think, nah, you know, there are some that go around curves or something. You'd slow down, but anyway, where am I here? How far? I've only been out here once lately. It's been a while. I kept thinking it was that road, but it's not that road. Anyway, it's been a day already. I was supposed to have an appointment yesterday, and I thought, why am I doing that? Okay, in case you're wondering, there was some guy, he was, I don't know, he must have been texting someone. He was definitely holding up traffic. So I just turned it off until I got here. You know, then I got here, and I'm driving down the, you know, the parking thing. Now, I look at my rearview mirror, don't see anybody. So I was kind of going a little slow because people were walking, you know, you be courteous. And then I parked, and there was somebody driving past me that like they had been behind me. I don't know, maybe they had backed out of really fast out of a parking spot or something. Like, you are not in my rearview mirror. Who are you? But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to do this physical therapy. I just now realized my house shoes, I wear them out to my SUV because I don't wear my shoes in the house. I keep my shoes in my SUV that I wear to go to stuff like physical therapy. So I wear my house shoes, and I just put on these house shoes yesterday, I think. Bought 2 new pair. One's red and this one. Thought it was black, and I'm just now seeing it out in the light. It's navy blue. I have solar screens on all my windows at home, and man, let me tell you, it changes the colors of everything. Like one of my medications, I think it's I see it as orange, but it's actually pink. Yeah. Weird. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't take that pill. I'm telling you. I'm just randomly talking today. It's just whatever. But I don't know how to get back to this about physical therapy. I've got it. I don't know about it. Speaking of getting my shoes on. Because, I had that, pneumonia. Today is June 23rd. I had it I had it all of May. And a little bit at the end of April. But that also was, at that point, that was also due to a medication from a rare health condition that my body had a bad reaction to. And I'd only taken 39 pills. And it was like 40. The last one, I didn't know was going to be my last one, but it was probably 40 something. And within that time, I had gained 25 pounds. And yeah, they got me off of that, me and the doctor. And anyway, my body had a bad reaction to all that. And including the city had come out and worked on the sidewalks and then when they left, I got real sick. All the dirt, concrete, so on and so forth. Then they just came back and did a part of an alley across the way. Oh man, all that stuff all in the air. Wind would blow, and it would blow up all this. It was beside the pollen, but also dirt and concrete. Man, I was really sick with pneumonia, and the hospital told me that, the ER. They did a chest x-ray, and it said suspicion of pneumonia. So, okay. But all that, and then it lasted until like right in the beginning of June, and I wasn't able to move, like I was talking about. That's what I was talking about, how far I was able to move. And now, this is June 23rd, like I said, and I have been for the last couple weeks maybe. I keep wanting to say week, but I keep wanting to say that, but yeah, it's about probably 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I've been much more active, but as time goes on, more and more, and my body's hurting. My body is hurting. One of those days, within the last week, in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, actually, I started, my body was aching really bad. I woke up, body aching. I didn't run, but right across the way, took a Tylenol and went to the restroom, turned the AC, because I my body was like, I was feeling so much heat. I didn't didn't take my temperature, but I just started feeling like it was so hot. And then I turned the air conditioner on, and it chilled me out, and I went back to sleep. But fever broke. Did I have a fever? I don't know. So a few days I didn't feel like doing anything again. Then that was last week. That was within the past week. Yeah, within the past week. So anyway, with those other days, I was pretty much busy, and I'm doing much more at home. I remember some doctor said, or somebody said, homemaking, cleaning the house and stuff, your own house, isn't exercise. BS. Not true. Yes, the gold standard. I read what the NIH said about it, and that's where I look for everything. It's what the NIH says, National Institutes of Health, and they're the gold standard. And it basically said maybe, but like that. That's how I read it. I'm trained in research and how to read this research in different ways. Trained in qualitative and quantitative. Now they're saying something else. I need to check that again. But things change so much you wouldn't believe. Anyway, and what I read was, and I mentioned this to a physical therapist, and I think that it would take a physical therapist or a group a physical therapist to, I don't know, I'm not a voice of authority on anything medical, you know, but I think it would take them to determine what kind of, and what exercise to do when and how, and, you know, what kind, you know what I'm saying, and write the books on it. And when you should and when you shouldn't, how much you need and all that, you know, like my physical therapist does for me. You know, how much I need to do this kind of exercise and that kind of exercise. But mine's going to be ongoing since the medicine for my rare health condition failed. And the other one, there's another one out, and it says one of the possible side effects is sudden death. That was a big no. That was a huge no. Sudden death? No. And I think there's one other one. But after my experience with that one, I'm not going to try that other one. Because whatever it was, my body rejected. And it's supposed to be what it works, what it does. So, there's one more thing, but then I'm going to ask my the correct doctor for this purpose, this other one, and I basically recently decided that I'm going to take charge of this kind of stuff, because I have been working on what they're telling me, you know, like I have a great, wonderful, two of them, wonderful PCPs, and one of them is just hard to get an appointment with him, and the other one is not. You know, like, well, maybe her, but they have other people. And that one, he has another person I will never see again. No, I didn't like her. I didn't like his nurse. No. I like him. He's great. He's wonderful. My age, we get along fine. But it's just hard to see him. Okay. The other one, she's younger. She's kind of sweet, but she's kind of like she doesn't know what to think about me. I think she's very curious about, because of my rare health condition. You're just like, huh. She knows not to step over the line. It's not her. You'll stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. She's going to stay in her lane. And that's something that there is a specific doctor for. And they're the ones that they contact and ask questions about my health, okay? They don't assume they know. The good ones, the ones who are not, they assume that they know and they're wrong. Chances are they'll be wrong, seriously. I'm not being smart, it's serious. Oh, my glucose is high. See? That's my little machine. I brought it with me. Let's see. Okay. It's not one of those Libra. I have the other one, Dexcom. And this is high. I doubted that it would say it's low. So, oh yeah. But I don't always bring it with me. When I get home and it starts screaming at me because I was away from it too long. Oh, you know why I'm saying that? I got something funny to say. I need to make a video of this because I find these hilariously funny. You know, the first time when I checked, you know, I like checking stuff on doing the Google AI, you know, and it does say on there, you know, that they can be wrong. Just like me, in my description it says, and my opinions could be wrong. My views could be wrong. Whatever it says, I could be wrong. I sometimes say that in videos. I could be wrong. You know, people who can't say that, ooh, man, red flags. To me. I'm not saying that it would be to you, but to me it is. But anyway, so I like looking up, and I remember the first time it said, well, I don't know how that, you know, it was something like, I can't tell you how that feels. I'm an AI after all. Something along that line. And I cracked up laughing. It was so hilarious, you know, and sometimes they'll speak it, and sometimes they don't. But it doesn't. But yesterday, I asked a funny question. What was the funny question? Because you know how some people say, man, you know, in the South, I think it's more of a thing. You know, they say, it can be whatever it is. The end of it's the same. They'll say, I would throw a fit of rage, the biggest fit of rage this side of Mississippi, okay? And I asked it, I just made that statement, and it came back and said, whoa, wait a minute, calm down. I started laughing. Really, it said, whoa, hey, calm down. If you're having problems with this is what you check out. If it's a customer service issue, this is what you check. You can call these people. And then it kept doing like this, giving me little, what you can do. If, it said, calm down, don't be so angry. And it wasn't angry. I didn't even say it in a really angry voice. I was wondering about the expression. How exactly is it spoken? So I just said it as I, was thinking. So, and anyway, and so I just put on there, then after that, it gives you a little space where you can put to go into more detail. And I put just as an expression. That's what I wrote, typed in, just as an expression. And it came back and it said, ha, ha, ha. And said, well, I'm glad that there was nothing serious, and you were just saying, this is an expression. And said, hey, would you like to hang out? And man, I almost lost it. He asked me if I'd like to hang out. Oh my goodness. I know a lot of people have problems with the AI. I don't. It has been around for many years, okay? Decades. It's since the beginning, probably. I mean, I had my first computer in 1982, and I'll say even back then, there was some things it would tell you what to do. And then what they're saying now, I get it. They're trying to say like, like the movie, they've stolen from that movie, and they want to make sure it goes crazy. They're going to extreme. All these conspiracy theories, like the Y2K. Oh my gosh, I lived through it, remember? I was there. Just people going crazy, and that's how I feel about it. Now, I did, look it up, because I know there are some, Christians, and they might think a different way, and I asked, what would Jesus say about it? And, and they don't have to be Christian, by the way. There are other people from other religions that believe in Jesus. So, but they don't classify themselves as Christian. So they might believe of him as a prophet, and so on, etc. But what was it I was going to say? I'm kind of distracted with what's going on around me, or what is around me. But yeah, I said, well, what about that? And it said, basically, as long as you don't glorify it, and you don't see it as an idol, you don't see it as a replacement of God, and I think the two that it said was, you don't see it as a replacement for God, and you don't idolize it. Okay, I mean, glorification of something. I was always raised, you don't glorify anybody or anything but God. Okay, that's when I was raised in a very holy, very, very holy church. We didn't have a church building. It was in people's homes, mainly too. Sometimes when they had a church convention, it'd be in a tent, these big tents. Yeah, and in the summertime, they would have church conventions, usually in August in Texas. Oh my, no ACs. They were intense. They would have big fans, but no AC. And if you could stay in hotels there, but a lot of people would, they were on farms. They had these big, big barns. I mean, I'm talking really long barns. And people would donate, I don't know what they did with all their whatevers, because we'd stay there at night. And then they built some new ones. Maybe that was the whole sole purpose. I don't know. But my dad would tell us these are barns people use, and they had outhouses. The first ones, as time went by, they didn't have outhouses. And when I say outhouses, at the end of the barn, there were just a couple of seats you sit on, and yeah. gross stuff. You know, gross. And it was hot in those barns. We'd sleep in them with fans on us, and we didn't survive. And then where we ate was, you know, the people would donate stuff from people from church. They did not believe in tithes. Nope. They did not believe in that. They didn't force anybody. It was for what you could have. Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. Nobody told you. If you felt like giving, that was up to you. Nobody said, if you feel like giving. Nobody said these things. This was stuff, when you charity in the church I grew up in, you don't brag about. You don't show people what you're doing. You know? And I remember saying a few years ago, you know, I was telling people that I did, you know, this is something I did for charity. And I was trying to get other people, you know, interested in it. And then I read in it, it says, you don't do that. And then right now it's coming back in my memory of, I think that's what it was when I was a child, because nobody ever talked about it. I never heard, you know, until I remember I asked my dad how the preachers, and we called them preachers, they were worldwide, by the way, especially, you know, for us, United States and Canada. And, you know, all different states. This is Texas. And I asked him, it wasn't just two preachers, it was many. They go 2 by 2. You know, the older one taught the younger one, this kind of thing. Or the newer to it. They weren't married. They didn't have kids. They didn't have money. They gave all their money away. They owned no possessions. And they lived their lives. I remember one of them got married, and he had to quit being a preacher. But he married a woman from the church and lived happily ever after, from what I understand. You know, as far as I knew. But anyway, I mean, that's how it was. They were really, truly holy people. And then that was just, you didn't praise anybody but God. And I noticed a lot of people, they try to take religion and they change it, switch it to where it's more comfortable for them. That's not how it worked either. You know, it wasn't about you making it comfortable for yourself. You know, by changing it and saying, well, but, I mean, there are some things that have to change because the world we live in is different. Okay, but things like that, you know, oh, but well, we can praise, you know, these people for doing this. And I even saw the AI would say something like that, and that's because some of it came from different religions, and that they felt like that. Okay, but mine didn't. You didn't praise, you didn't glorify anybody, you know, at all. So, anyway, I gotta go. Okay, hey everybody, I'm back. And I finished my physical therapy. This time it was a little more, quite a bit more. It's not as much as I used to do, but I am recovering from it. And this is bouncing all around, isn't it? I am recovering from pneumonia and all that other stuff, the medication I was on that, you know, my body didn't like. And yeah, it was a lot of stuff all of a sudden. It's been a lot of stuff for the past, since 2023. A lot of stuff. It's like life is trying to kill me, as I say. You know, it's so much. But, did I mention this earlier? I was thinking today, I figured it out because I weighed on my scale, and my body, because of, you know, the health condition, I can retain water fluid. It's usually, you know, it's all monitored and all, but it finally let go of some of it again, and now the total that I'm down, the weight, is about 35 pounds. 35 pounds. I kept saying 25, but it's actually 35 of water, the additional water weight. But from where I was before that medication that caused it, it would be, that would be the 25, or close to 25. So, however you want to figure it from the height of it, the weight, I'm down 35, the highest weight, 35, down 35. Again, I got 35 more to go. So, yeah, somewhere around there. It's not exact. Close enough. It might be 1 or 2 pounds off. Because there was so much that was also losing and I gained and losing, whatever. But from the highest to what I was before. So, anyway, I'm a little tired. You wouldn't think, I wouldn't think that so much, that just a little bit of stuff, exercise, something in the past would have been nothing. Now it's like, wow, that's a lot. Woo. Whatever was on the road, I need to keep that cleaner. That's right. You need to keep it cleaner. They, some kind of plant there. Don't need that all over the road. Wow, what are they doing out there, I wonder? I know it used to be a golf course, but now they're building a plant there, something like that. Okay, now we do have a speed limit here, and you're going twice it. So, yeah. The way people drive, almost, I'd say close to twice. Okay, not twice, but they were zooming past me. Yeah. I gotta complain about something, There's always something to complain about. Really, they're kind of not joking. That's kind of true. It's usually something to complain about. Like I said, so far nobody's been tailgating me. Yeah, that's a miracle. It's close to a miracle. I keep I'm talking, and at the same time I'm trying to think of, do I need to go get something from anywhere before I go home? Once you get home. Okay, I'm going to 37, it's 35, and now there's going to be a tailgater. Yep, and it's the Bubba truck. Yes, indeed. I don't know where any of you are expecting to go. Seriously, look at this, Put people in danger. Look at it. I just don't know. There's got to be somebody who's doing that kind of thing. And you see, it's not just me that they're doing it too. But coming up behind like that. So, did I need to go anywhere else? I don't think I did. But anyway, I'm glad that my body let go of whatever it was again, finally, because it kept being, see, I say that I wave at them at the light, because they're going to hit the same light. They're not going to get far. He just zipped in front of that truck in front of me. So here we are. You saw him weaving in and out of everybody. He's right in front of this truck. No, big woo. We're all at the same light, and he had to put everybody in danger for that. What is wrong with people's brains, man? They don't have, they don't think, or they just, there's an emergency. There's not that many emergencies. Nope. Because every time I go out, at least one person doing that. There's not that many emergencies. Nope. Cannot see that that's an emergency. And then you see them pull off to the side and go get something to eat at a fast food restaurant. So, oh man. But so what's saying? I'm feeling kind of. It is weird, Like I said, I just don't think that I should be feeling so, worn out. But it is. It is what it is. And I do wonder, at my age, I just turned 36. Yeah, I turned 36. I turned 63. Boy, I mixed that one up, huh? I remember a woman who did that. It was this guy knew his mother. She was 63, and she said she just turned 36. And I was like, I'm 36, not you. And she said, well, it's the same numbers. I can use them any way I want, that kind of thing. Something like that. She was a piece of work, let me tell you. Yeah, she was something else. Oh. But anyway, be good to get home and just because she said do them from home. I'm supposed to do them every other day. I go back, it'll be every other day. So I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I can do them every day as long as my body isn't hurting terribly. You know, like it's too much on my body. Because I have to remember, you know, I had congestive heart failure, and my score, whatever that kind of score is still high, really high. So I have to be careful. I can't overexert. So anyway, now there's going to be another person who has to go faster than everybody. You know, they gotta go. They gotta go faster. Yep. It's just that's how that is. For them. You have that other lane, you can go if you want to, and if you don't, too bad. That's so sad. It's your problem. You're not going to be the one that would pay my ticket, and you wouldn't be the one that would pay my insurance. So, screw you. So sweet. So, okay, no, I wouldn't do it anyway. I don't speed, so it wouldn't matter. You know, if there was a, ambulance, I move over. I do what you're supposed to do. You know, what you're supposed to do. And there are a lot of people who won't. They refuse to do what I know some families, notice this plural, families, where most of the people in that family, and on and on and on, they refuse to do anything that is the way it's supposed to be. Now watch this, you see that? Yeah, you gotta be first, boy, do you ever. But you're right here at the same light. Right here at the same light. Oh boy. But anyway, yeah, I know some families that they won't, like I was saying earlier, that, they think speed limits are just suggestions. And some of them actually grew up in a country. I think it's two different countries. Two of the families, I think they grew up in, of course, I know that they grew up in different countries from one another. And I think that both of them didn't have things like speed limits when you drove. You just basically, however you wanted to drive, that's how you drove. It's kind of like pedestrians move out of your way. Here in the United States, it's more like even though it's not 100%, but pedestrians have the right of way. You don't want to run somebody down just so you can get there faster. But you see some of these people, they get in these bullets, these huge bullets, and they drive crazy in and out, and then they wind up at the same light. Same light. So I didn't see this one in front of me, by the way, whipping in and out of people, except it was probably in the wrong lane, which that's a turning lane, and a lot of people don't know it. And so you had to get over. Boy. I am tired, but it's kind of weird. I'm tired. Why am I tired? I'm feeling tired and sleepy too. But anyway, wasn't I saying something? I said, oh yeah, I want to remember to say this. Something earlier. Wasn't I? I don't know. There's so many things that are on my mind lately. I think it's because all of May, my brain was not letting me think about stuff. And all of a sudden, and then I'm better. I've got so much I want to think about and talk about. Look at that old truck. Wow, that's an old truck. I remember those were old, I think, when I was young. Teenager. Okay. Why is there, lately I've been seeing these school buses, but school's out for the summer. I guess some kids have summer school. I've seen so many buses, and then I never see anybody in them. So, yeah, except for the driver, of course. Anyway, how many of you are going to think that this is 35 through here, and they're going to try to get me to go, like 50? They feel like that's what it's supposed to be. Well, that's not what it is. There's a difference between what you want it to be and and what it is. So, and that is the law. Like I said, it is the law. That I've said this so many times in newspaper article. The title said it is the law. You know, period in between. You know, after it is, and then after the law. I've said I could actually see this Texan man wearing his cowboy hat. You know, not all Texan men wear cowboy hats. Don't stop. People stop stereotyping Texans like that. But do stop it. But I could see him. And for some reason, there's some kind of memory, probably from when I was a child, and I could just see this man doing that, saying, "It is the law." You know? So I don't know. But like I say, anyway. Oh yeah, you think you're gonna push me to turn faster, right? Is that what it is? Oh, you're turning. Now let's see. You see, this is one lane. Okay, you see? But that over there's a bike trail. It doesn't say bike trail, but that, you know, that's added to it. And there will be cars that will try to go around anybody. No, it's not just me. Anybody on that on the back trail. Seriously. Because they got to hurry through this neighborhood that's 30 in the school. And I'm talking while school's in. Because they think that they have to be first. And people should be going faster. I really think the police officers need to sit right there. They make plenty of money for the county. I mean, for the city. Wrapping it up.